From the PEP Radio Newsroom, this is the morning and early afternoon news blast. LGBTQ Nation is reporting a follow-up to a story that we have been following. The FBI on Tuesday announced an investigation into what it's calling targeted violence against religious groups by LGBTQ plus protesters at an anti-trans rally in Seattle over the weekend. The city issued a permit for the Don't Mess With Our Kids rally organized by Mayday USA, a fundamentalist anti-trans organization, at Cal Anderson Park in the heart of Seattle's gayborhood on Capitol Hill. Hundreds of Christian fundamentalist attendees were met by LGBTQ plus and allied counter-protesters. Violence erupted after a counter-protester popped a balloon held by a Mayday attendee. Dozens of Seattle cops on bikes swooped in, setting off a melee that resulted in 23 arrests. Seattle Mayor Bruce Harrell issued a statement later that evening saying that Mayday USA intentionally provoked Seattleites by choosing Cal Anderson Park for their event. Harrell characterized the Capitol Hill event as meant to provoke a reaction by promoting beliefs that are inherently opposed to our city's values in the heart of Seattle's most prominent LGBTQ plus neighborhood. When the humanity of trans people and those who have been historically marginalized is questioned, we triumph by demonstrating our values through our words and peaceful protest. We lose our voice when this is disrupted by violence, chaos, and confusion. Anarchists infiltrated the counter-protesters group and inspired violence, prompting Seattle police to make arrests and ask organizers to shut down the event early, which they did. Mayday USA spokesperson Pastor Foley Kellogg told the Seattle Times the group was not trying to provoke anything with the rally's location and that the city had actually rejected its permit request for a different park near Pike Place Market before they ended up at Cal Anderson Park. In response to the controversy, Mayday USA announced a second rally called the Rattle in Seattle on Tuesday evening on the steps of City Hall, where they demanded that Mayor Harrell redact his statement, apologize, or resign. The second rally was also met with counter-protesters who positioned themselves around a perimeter of police barricades. But Seattle police allowed Mayday USA members into the thick of where counter-protesters were. Seattle Gay News reports. Counter-protesters called the action a provocation, and when they verbally objected, police intervened, leading to violent clashes. 8 people were arrested on unknown charges. The FBI's announcement came during Tuesday's rally, where a Mayday organizer announced it from the stage. We have asked our team to fully investigate allegations of targeted violence against religious groups at the Seattle concert, FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino posted to X, referring to Saturday's event. Freedom of religion isn't a suggestion. Hey, Bongino, freedom of speech isn't a suggestion either. At least it didn't used to be that way. When the so-called United States was founded, speech, press, religion, assembly, and petitioning the government were all covered simultaneously under Amendment 1. Maybe you should brush up on your constitutional law. The FBI statement coincides with an investigation launched by Mayor Harrell of both events. Harrell himself is also now a target of recrimination over how the Seattle government handled permitting Saturday's rally, along with the violent police response. A fundamentalist, anti-trans family values protest should never have been permitted in the heart of Seattle's historic LGBTQ neighborhood. Mayoral candidate Katie Wilson, who is challenging Harrell in this year's election, wrote on X. Harrell said in a statement Wednesday that the city has received no official notice of an FBI investigation. In another post coinciding with the FBI's announcement, the White House Faith Office condemned Harrell's response that blamed Mayday USA for the provocative rally. Public officials must protect the inalienable rights of all citizens, regardless of their faith or religious belief, the statement said. We urge the city of Seattle to uphold these rights at all faith-based events, safeguarding the ability of people of faith to gather and express their beliefs without fear of harassment or violence. You know, the LGBTQ plus community would like the same goddamn thing. Maybe faith-based protesters could hold their events in places where they know well ahead of time that they aren't going to lead to violence. Places like the middle of goddamn Kansas. If they could do that, that would be great. That's News Blast for this hour. Download the Live 365 app to take PEP Radio with you wherever you go. Up next is the weather forecast for the Meadville area here on PEP Radio.